Thank you so
Hi,
much for
Nora.
being with us tonight. I really, really appreciate that that you got the courage to come over here and explain to us such a complicated subject. I mean, like, wow, insurance, nobody thinks about it until it's about time for closing, but I said, Sarah needs to come up here and explain a little bit more about what it is that you do, and I'll go ahead and give my 2 cents, on why they need it. If they need it, they don't need it, because some people are like fighting all the way, like, why do I need this?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about who you are, Sarah. I know who you are. You're my friend. So, but what do you do?
Well, hi, Nora. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. So I know you know me, but I've been in the insurance industry for about 6 years, and before that, I did banking and everything. But um, so you were asking if insurance is needed. Absolutely. If you have a house, aside from the fact that if you're getting a loan for to purchase a home, it is required to have, I'm sure you know that as a loan officer, but also it's smart to have, because what if there's a fire? What if, there's a total loss? God forbid the house just burns down to the ground. How is, how are people going to pay for that? So that's when insurance becomes important. And like you mentioned, a lot of people don't think about it until, unfortunately, that event happens to them. And then they're like, oh, there's a thing called insurance.
Exactly, exactly. So that is to all my friends that are barely tuning in. We're going to talk about insurance, home insurance. Okay, we're probably going to cover some other things, but um, I wanted to go ahead and explain it as basic as possible, because when we get to that point, it's not the realtor that tells you, hey, you need insurance. Okay, they already got him under contract, and now I got to deal with telling them, hey, who is your insurance company going to be? Do you have an insurance company in mind? And they're like, why do I need insurance? I'm not buying a car. So I mean, you just explained that if they're going to get a loan, absolutely, I'm going to ask for that insurance. Yes, you need to have that house insured. Just like when you go and get a loan on a car, if you don't have insurance to cover the car, you're not walking out that dealership or whatever you buy in the car. You're
Yeah.
not getting it until you have proof of insurance. It's the same thing. You will not close on a home until you prove that somebody's already covering that place. Okay, so um, I'm glad you said that, because yeah, no insurance, no,
Alone.
no loan, no home. Just
Yeah.
it trickles down, right? Everything that is needed. So when somebody tells you, because I'm pretty sure that you get hit with this a lot, when they tell you, just give them the minimum. What exactly? I mean, like, I know with cars, it's like liability insurance. It really doesn't
Mhm.
cover your car. It covers whoever you hit, God forbids, right? But what is the minimum insurance? And then follow up with whether that is a smart decision to do for homeowners or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to touch base on what you said about the car insurance, because absolutely, liability covers the other guy, but there's another thing called uninsured, underinsured motorist that actually covers the driver. So that's another
Mhm.
subject. But on the home loans, like you said, yes, I do get some customers that tell me, just give me the bare minimum. And I understand that they're trying to save money, but I always tell them, if we go higher on your deductible, will you be able to afford it? If you have a claim, you're going to have to come up with that. And the whole idea of getting an insurance policy is to make sure that the house's value, is going to be replaced, called a replacement cost, if, you know, um, if God forbid there's a total loss. So if they want the bare minimum, we can definitely do that, but they're going to have to understand that if something happens, they're probably not going to get what they want at that time. You know, the if the house is worth, let's say, well, if they're getting a loan, first of all, if the house is worth $200,000, they can't insure it for less. You know that. Um,
Mhm.
because the loan officer always contacts the insurance agent and says, what were you thinking? But we can definitely go higher on the deductible, lower personal liability or personal property, personal liability, other structure and loss of use and all that. We can leave out the identity theft and the jewelry and the guns and whatever, what have you. But it's really not a good idea because a house is generally a person's biggest investment. And I mean, for people to sit there and think about not insuring it properly the way that um, they have to have it insured. It's not right. It's not a good idea. I see it happening, but people only notice it being a problem when they have a claim and they realize, hey, I should have had that coverage.
Correct. And let me go ahead and piggyback on that total loss, because I mean, with a car, okay, well, uh, it's done. I need a new car, right? And then you go through insurance and all that stuff. You get a rental, whatever. On homes, there's no rental. There's no, okay, there's a house available. Talk to me about what a total loss would be on a home. When you talk about total loss, what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if there's a fire and the structure is just burnt, I mean, it's not, you can't live in it. The person cannot live in it. That's considered a total loss. If sometimes it's completely gone in a flood. And flood is not covered in a homeowner's policy, but however, it is purchased separately and it is a good idea to have. So total loss is if the house is just not livable anymore. It's just gone.
Exactly. You already covered too the things that I was gonna ask. Like what's exactly insured. What's really covered in whether flood or vandalism or also hail. Okay, that is extra, right?
No. Most companies, they have separate deductibles for wind and hail and a regular deductible for everything else, whether it's a fire or, um, and actually, if the house is not livable, there is a coverage that can be endorsed, usually, depending on the company again. It can be endorsed to where they take care of their not their living expense, but they get some money, after paying the deductible, they get some money to be able to go and, rent a place and whatever to until the the house is then rebuilt. Um, but yeah, I mean, absolutely, they can definitely do that.
That is something very interesting. I've asked, because I mean, I have asked that question, and I never got that. And then by endorsement, let's go ahead and clarify, to people that they're not familiar with the insurance lingo. I mean, I know a little bit because I did insurance back in the day, and then with being a loan officer, well, I have to know your lingo, right? So I know that the endorsements. When you say endorsements, that's extra money, right?
Generally, yes. If
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you're adding if you're adding, identity theft as an endorsement or water damage, some companies, it's included in the company, but it would have to be sudden or accidental. And if if people want slow leak seepage coverage, it is an endorsement, meaning it's an addition. It's just a click away. All we do is just click on a little
Mhm.
word and it adds it. But yes, it is called an endorsement. Um, and like I mentioned, it's a good idea to have those coverages, water damage and water backup and foundation coverage, depending, on the situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hell, when lately, I mean, it's like our side of town is like gets hit every time it hails, it's us. So is that extra, is that on when my clients they're closing on the loan, do they have to get the health coverage, or is
Yes,
that
yes, I
a
absolutely. I apologize. I was touching base on that and I lost my train of thought for a second. Let's go back to it. Yes, absolutely. So, wind and hail, it is generally included within the same policy. It's not really an endorsement depending on the company, but it's not really an endorsement. It is usually on there. I believe the least on the deductible that a person can go, I want to say it's 1%. I don't know if there are other companies that offer less. But I've never seen any that offer less than 1% of the total replacement cost, 1% of the replacement cost of the house. So it is covered, and it is definitely, if you live in Texas, it is definitely, if anything else, if you're not worried about a fire, you can come out of pocket. At least worry about your roof and having that hail coverage.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Or they're gonna be moving into our side of town, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um, let's see. Okay, so the best coverage, you already explained that. I mean, cover what you know you need to cover, but some people have guns, and this has nothing to do with loans, but um, what would be your recommendation when they call you with insurance needs? Of course, you're going to cover the home because that's why they're calling you. But there's bundles. What's the benefit for families, for people that are buying a house and they're calling you with that? But how do you advise them on what is the best route for them to do? They have guns, they have expensive jewelry. I'm pretty sure you ask them a bunch of questions about all that stuff. How do
Mhm.
you get to know this is the best coverage for these people, and this is how I can go ahead and save them even more money than just getting the home insurance and having a different insurance for all these other different things?
Yeah, absolutely. So the gun coverage, jewelry, watches, furs, stuff like that is usually within the same policy. Again, it's an endorsement that can be added. We generally ask for like an appraisal and just to see how much whatever we're insuring is worth. And absolutely, yeah, it can be endorsed. It's not really bundling because it's the same policy. However, um, when you say bundling, I think you're thinking like an auto and a home, or mortgage protection, life insurance, and a home and an auto. Absolutely. That is a bundle that saves them a lot of money, and that is a discount that can be given. And I work with over 15 A-rated companies. So finding a good, affordable premium, good coverage is simple. It's easy. It's doable.
When you say it's simple, it's easy.
Mhm.
Do all insurances go by credit or history? How do
Yes,
they save a lot more?
yes. So the person's credit plays, a huge part. However, even a bigger part is the house's history, the claim history of the house. So when somebody, let's talk about car insurance. If somebody has a whole bunch of tickets and many more accidents, they probably cannot find very affordable insurance. And if somebody's willing to insure them, it'll be high premium, maybe not very good, not high coverage, not up to their standards, but they'll be happy with it. At least they're covered, right? On
Exactly.
home, it's, if you have realtors, and I think you as well, when you're showing a home, it's always a good idea to call an insurance agent and just get a loss runs. It's a report. um, it can show the client what the house, when what claims the house has had. Think of a Carfax, how it goes back and shows the buyer what the car's been through and all that. Same thing.
Mhm.
Loss runs, it shows whatever the house has had, and the claims history. Generally, yes, it does follow the house. A lot of times the company pays out a claim, and the homeowner kind of touches up and fixes whatever needs fixing, and spends the money on something else, and the new buyer comes in and says, well, there's this claim, and this house is supposed to have a new roof. What happened? Now my insurance premium is higher because another important factor in a premium on a homeowner's policy is also the age of the roof. Um, so it's always important. It's a good idea to get that loss runs just to make sure, and see what the house has been through. It'll show hail damage. It'll show what's happened to the roof, if there was water claims, and then the buyer can kind of go in and ask the seller what's going on.
That is so interesting, okay? Because you see, as a loan officer, well, I need that insurance, right? I need that insurance policy for to be able to close on that loan. But as a realtor, I am so glad that you brought that up because that had never, been offered or really explained. And that's why I named this segment Home Insurance Explained, because I know how much you talk to my clients whenever I send them over. I know how much information you give them. And usually, I mean, you can sell them a lot more insurance because they're like, oh no, I need this and I need that. And that is one of those things that they have told me. And as a realtor, it would be awesome, that if clients know already, you know what, well, this house, they have a brand new roof, but why? Is there going to be a claim? Because these buyers are more educated, day after day. They're getting more educated and they know what kind of questions to ask. And it would be awesome if before they accept an offer or whatever, we can go ahead and ask, hey, has there been any claim? Because I'm going to tell you, I was a victim of that. And I'm like, okay, so we want a discount. We need to go ahead and replace the roof. And that is a really hard pill to swallow, So it is awesome to know that information is out there, and that if we call you, we can go ahead and find out, yes, there was a claim, because that right there is going to raise a flag and say, hey, you know what? Your insurance is going to be expensive.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great, great question. But let's go ahead and talk about something funny. Plenty of times I've told you, and you've probably seen it on my Facebook page. I have a Chihuahua, and not just a Chihuahua, but I have 3 dogs. Okay. So I know that does not, I mean, it protects my home. Yes, but not like an insurance policy. And this, yes, yes, but it's not an alarm and an alarm system, and it is not an insurance policy. Okay. It's just personal protection. But how do we protect us from these puppies that are running around, and God forbids they go and hurt somebody or whatever? My dogs are very well behaved, but you never know. Okay, so what happens if they are not protected? Like if they don't have, if they're not included in the homeowner's policy?
Well, so good question. If I'm not a licensed adjuster, so I can't really say the outcome. I can only use scenarios. Let's say, a dog goes out and bites somebody, and the person doesn't have enough, personal liability coverage or medical payments. It's probably, again, I'm not a licensed adjuster. It all depends. But if the animal is not listed on the policy, it's more likely not going to be covered. Um, Again, it all depends on the situation. It all depends. But personal liability, that's the coverage that'll come in and protect the homeowner, if there were, a lawsuit against the homeowner.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. It's very important because, I mean, people, they move from apartments because they don't want to pay for the rent deposit, and even pets pay rent. That's
Yeah.
just crazy. But it's always a question like, do I have to include the dog?
Yeah,
Talk to the
it's a
insurance,
good
I
idea
always
to
say,
do.
talk to the insurance lady.
Mhm. And since we're on this topic, let me just add to it. There's a list of animals that some companies will not cover. Um,
Usually.
yeah, some of the breeds that are a little bit known to be vicious or um, aggressive, they some companies do not cover them, or they will cover them at a higher premium. It all depends on the carrier.
Because of the history of the breed, not even the animal, but the history of the
Yeah.
breed. Yes, these are very important things to know. And I knew you were going to go ahead and be honest and very real about this subject, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. There's anything else that needs to be covered um, in a home? Is there
Um,
anything else?
yes, so I touched on this briefly earlier. I just want to go back to the subject of water damage versus water backup versus flood. A lot of people don't I mean, I never understood it before I got licensed. But water damage, some companies, like I said earlier, it's they'll cover it if only if it's sudden or accidental. So you have no idea, you're sitting and there's water everywhere. That's sudden. That'll be covered probably. It'll again, I'm not a licensed adjuster. I'm not gonna say but if it's slow leak, seepage, um, it does generally have to be endorsed. Some companies offer it, some don't. It all depends. But I am asking people if they are, getting quotes, shopping around, talk to your agent. Make sure that is something that they offer. Make sure, if your house is over, I mean, no matter how old it is, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years old or 1 year old. It's always a good idea to have because you have no idea what's going on in the pipes. Water backup, a lot of people, again, they think, well, my toilet's backing up and that's water backup. It's actually not. That's again water damage. Water backup is like a clogged sewer, something that happens like off premises. That's considered water backup. Again, it's a good idea to have because I mean it could happen to anybody, and we can. I think there are many companies that'll cover them up to I want to say 25, but let's just say 20 to be on the safe side. But I think there are some companies that cover it up to 25,000. Which is a good idea. Now, flood, a lot of people think, well, my house is flooded. The pipe broke and my house is flooded. That's also wrong. That is water damage. It's not flood. It doesn't matter. Flood only happens from a natural disaster if it rains too much. If it floods, there's a tsunami or something, but it rains too much and it causes water to enter the house, that is considered flood. It is a separate policy. It is almost, I hate to use the word never, but in this case, I will. It's never included in the homeowner's policy. It
Okay,
has
that's a
to,
good thing to know. Yes, because
yes,
they
it has
used
to
to think
be separate.
the
Mhm.
tub filled up and it got flooded. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was
It's the
not
term that
all
we
the
use,
time.
but it's not. And it's always good to, understand that they are different things. And it always comes with, as we get different quotes, we talk to different agents. But that's where, having an agent is important to get that experience, to get that one-to-one, one-on-one, and get that um, personable experience with an agent and make sure that they explain everything to you. Find the right agent. Find the right agent that, it cares about you, not just selling you something, but really cares about you and, giving you the right amount of coverage. Foundation coverage is another thing that can be endorsed, and it's really important to have. I mean, it can get pricey if the person doesn't have foundation coverage and a pipe breaks, it can really get pricey. Some companies kind of, cover bits and pieces, but others offer a more comprehensive. So it's always important um, for the customer, for the client, to ask those questions and make sure they get the right amount of coverage and the right coverage and choose the right agent and the right company to be clients with.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you so much for all the information. Let's go ahead and close it up with discounts. What it is that you as a licensed insuring representative, what do you look for to give families discounts or home buyers? You know, in my case, I mean, it would be home buyers that I would be sending you. Um, how do they get discounts? Of course, credit is a great thing in everything that we do nowadays. So, how would you get them deeper discounts, or I don't know, a lower price?
Um, so credit is it's really not a discount. If they have the credit, then the premium comes back lower, more affordable. If they do not have good credit, then it gets a little bit higher. As far as giving discounts, if the home buyer is a first-time home buyer, that is a discount that can be given. It does gradually fall off, but it's a discount that, hey, take advantage of it while you can, right? If they start the policy, it depends on the carrier again, but it's usually any time between a week after writing the policy up to maybe 10 or 15 days, some companies require. So if they start the policy sooner and make the effective date, um, start the policy later on, 15 days or 10 days or whatever um, later, then that's another discount that will gradually fall off again, but it's good to take advantage of. Having an alarm system, central alarm system, monitored alarm system, that's another discount. That's a great discount that can be added. Of course, these companies that come and put these security cameras and whatnot have their own fees, but it does protect the house, so it's a good idea to have. Um, I'm not going to get into auto because that's a different subject, but uh, there are great discounts that can be offered on the auto policies depending on the situation as well. Bundling is it's the number one way of savings. Forget about everything I've said so far. Bundling is really important because really, on average, the client can save anywhere between $50 to $400 a year. It's huge. Um, and it's just as simple as bundling with the same company, making sure that if they want to go, take the next step and get mortgage income protection, also known as life insurance, that protects their mortgage, it protects their income if, in case God forbid they're not around anymore, protects their family, but it's also a discount on their home and auto. So it's a great idea to have.
I am so glad. I am so glad you accepted to come live with me on this segment
My
because
pleasure.
you gave so much information, very, very good information, realistic, very easy to understand information. And I really, really appreciate your time. I know you have a little one and it gets hectic. Okay. I don't have little ones in the house anymore, but it's like, I know what you're going through. So thank you so much. It was so good. So good. All the information you gave us. Thank you so much. And let me go ahead and make a pause here to tell everybody that if you're just barely connecting, um, give it like 5 minutes and it'll replay again. And if you don't want to wait for that, just go to the YouTube channel, Nora Leal Home Loans, and you can go and watch from the beginning. There's a lot of great information that Sarah just shared with us. Okay, Sarah, if they want to go ahead and contact you, because I mean, I know a lot of people want to know who you are and what's your number, so they can go ahead and call you for a quote. Where can they find you? What
Yeah,
number can they call
absolutely.
you?
So my direct number is 210-955-0012. You're more than, anybody is more than welcome to call me, contact me. I will, can I comment on this? Like when we're done, can I comment on it?
Absolutely.
So I will
Mhm.
leave my email and everything at the, on like a comment. That way I'm not overwhelming anybody. But my pleasure, Nora. It's been a pleasure, being here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh no, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I know that we got something going, but we'll go ahead and touch bases again. Thank you so much. It is so good to see you at least on the camera, but we'll go and see each other in person pretty soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
can't wait.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great night.
Good
Bye bye.
night.